Hey, everybody. I'm Emily Gernaat, and wow, that is a tough act to follow. Thank you, Leah. That woman is a deep well of wisdom, and don't let her quiet spirit fool you. A friend of mine asked me earlier today if I'd be nervous to do this, and I'm like, no, these people are the most beautiful people I've ever met, and I think they actually like me. So, but now that I'm up here, I kind of have to pee. Anyways, this is going to be a little bit interactive to start with. Have a couple of questions, and there's no right or wrong answers whatsoever. So, who in this room has started Plexus for the products initially? Oh, wow. Okay. So definitely the vast majority of you guys. Who started for the business initially? Okay, there's just a handful. I was one of those people too. Show of hands, how many of you guys have owned a business prior to Plexus? Okay, there's quite a few of you. That's awesome. Okay, I would dare bet most of you have started in Plexus because you were looking for solutions in your health. But you're here at a retreat now, top 2% of the company, of an almost $1 billion company, because you are a leader of your own business. And you are in fact a business owner. So today we're going to talk business owner to business owner about the bottom line. Any guesses what the bottom line is? Do we have any Shark Tank fans in the house? Just a few. Okay, I'm obsessed with that show. So Shark Tank is where entrepreneurs will go in front of a panel of wealthy investors and they'll pitch their business to these people trying to get their investment. And one of the things they always ask is, what are your sales? That question gets asked to every single entrepreneur. Just the mere mention of the word sales is sometimes enough to make people squirm in their seats, especially in a room full of people that are helpers and people that just want to help people. And that's not a bad thing because we have a negative connotation with sales because of different experiences we have. And I don't think any of us signed up here to be a salesman. We get this objection a lot from new people. I'm just not a salesman. I don't want to sell to my friends. Sales just aren't my thing. But the thing is, the reason you're probably uncomfortable with it is because you probably stumbled into this business like a lot of us who fell in love with the products. And then somewhere along the way, you opened up to the idea of sharing and helping with other people. And then poof, you hear how now you have a business. So it kind of can come out of nowhere for some of us. The other factor that might be coming into play is you might be used to being in an employee role versus being in a business owner role. When you're an employee, you have a singular role with a greater organization, but you're not in charge of the full picture. With a traditional business, there's hundreds of roles that don't have anything to do with sales. And so as long as you're doing your particular job, you don't have to worry about sales. When I came into this business, I had a little different framework and background than most people. I never really worked a traditional job. I worked in anything that I worked in, my income was directly a reflection of my ability to sell myself. So starting out as a hairstylist, for instance, I basically sold my skills and my expertise and gained clients' trust and loyalty by selling them on the fact that I'd be able to help be their personal hair expert and create the look they want, and then they walk out feeling great about themselves. Later on, I transitioned into training horses full-time and again had to sell my skill set and sell people on the idea of trusting me with their most prized possession and spending tens of thousands of dollars on my training program. I loved the challenge of selling people on that stuff and enjoyed the opportunity to work with people on a common goal. But we've all probably had bad sales experiences too. Recently, I listed my truck for sale online because I saw an opportunity after used car prices went up. I'm like, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to make a little money on it and use that money towards other things. But I got all kinds of inquiries on it. And one of the inquiries was from a used car salesman. And she called me and basically made like a trade deal type offer. Offered me a bunch of money for my truck, which was great. But then she tried to sell me on a truck that I couldn't afford. And I gave her my budget, and I told her my goal is to be totally debt free and to have a smaller vehicle at the end of this. And she went on a 5-minute monologue about how I should finance this truck and it's a great deal and it's okay if I go into debt. That's not really a big deal. And by the end of it, I was so frustrated because she didn't listen to my goals or what I wanted or what I needed out of it. She was just trying to pitch her ideas and what she wanted out of the deal. That's not what we do here. That is not what we do with Plexus. When I started Plexus, I saw the opportunity to use what I know about sales, but I had a bigger hill to climb. I couldn't just sell my expertise because I was not the health expert. I was the girl who was drinking Monster energy drinks and eating Snickers candy bars for lunch. So people knew me as the girl with the massive sweet tooth and was not the person to trust with your health goals. So instead of selling my expertise, I learned how to sell possibility. By sharing my story in real time and just inviting people in on that transformation, I was able to convey that there might be hope for them too. Over time, I gained the trust of my audience, not by becoming the expert or by selling my knowledge or my skills, but by being transparent and by connecting with people and connecting with that feeling of hopelessness or frustration that they feel with their health. Simply put, I saw the power in selling the idea of hope that is encapsulated by one phrase. If it worked for her, maybe it'll work for me too. And hope is what gives people the courage to try. Selling in this business is the transference of hope from one person to the next. Jamie sold me on the hope that one day I could afford to live an independent life and have freedom to do the things that I love and to feel safe and to feel confident on my own. That was enough to move me to be courageous and to take the next step. When selling is done well, you will see lives changed over and over and over because the power of hope to inspire courage to transform someone's life. So let's get back to business ownership, because although you may not have envisioned yourself as a business owner, you are in fact here at a business retreat, top 2% of the company. And that is something to not take lightly. It is a gift, and it's our job to steward that well. There's 5 major components to traditional business, a little different than network marketing. In network marketing, we have 4, and Jamie mentioned them earlier, the 4 pillars that we have to worry about. But for the sake of perspective, I want to talk about the 5 pillars of traditional business so that you walk away from this with a whole new appreciation for what we have here. Number 1 is creating or building a product, service, or resource to sell. Number 2 is sales, AKA recruiting. Number 3 is customer service or retention. Number 4 is assembling and leading a team. Number 5 is duplication of systems that uphold all the former things. In Plexus, we have 1/5 of that equation, the most difficult part taken completely off the table for us so we don't have to worry about it. That's why in Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he recommends that people who want to become business owners or entrepreneurs start in network marketing. Because the most difficult part of that process has been covered. We don't have to personally develop or formulate or dream up products. We don't have to put them through rigorous testing, design packaging, source ingredients, engineer manufacturing facilities, hire and fire support staff, for things like customer service, shipping, assembly, quality control, logistics, IT, compliance, product development, payroll, commissions, events. The list goes on. There is a million aspects of this business that we don't even have to touch. So that frees up a lot of space and time and mental energy to do things like sales. And we get to focus on what we can do best to move our businesses forward. So our 4 pillars are sales or recruiting. Number 2, customer service or retention. Number 3, duplication. And number 4, leadership. The speed of your growth will be a direct reflection of your efficiency on all of these key areas. And if you have personal resistance to or friction from any of those, it will slow you down. And what I personally see a lot of resistance to is sales, all the way from the person that's just starting to the veterans in here that have been doing this for years and might be feeling burned out on selling or might be feeling burned out on recruiting. There's resistance there. And the problem is that when there's resistance to sales on your team is that you can't retain your way to diamond. Retention is a key factor. It's one of the 4 pillars, but if you don't have anybody coming in to retain, you're not going to get there. So what can we do to get personally excited about selling and get our teams excited and confident about selling? I only have one concept for you guys to nail down and take home with you, because it will all circle back to this eventually. You need to make sure that you are sold out on the vision yourself. Your team will sense a lack of vision from a mile away. And if you are not leading with a strong vision from the top, they won't see the purpose in their work and activity will fall off. Sell yourself on the vision, then sell your team on the vision. Remind them of the hope that they have for themselves and for their families. Remind them of the difference that they're making. Talk daily about health victories and about the things that you're seeing on your team. Talk openly about the difference that the money is making for you and for people on your team. Selling changes from being an obligation to being a privilege when you believe what you're doing matters. Your team needs to know that what they're doing matters. I would dare bet that when Fallon started her business, she had no idea that some desperate, hurting 30-year-old single girl living with her boyfriend's parents in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee, would have her life changed forever because of products she was selling online. She probably didn't know that I'd be able to get out of an abusive situation or provide for myself or finally have the space and financial stability to deal with things I needed to deal with and to get counseling and to unpack decades of trauma. Jamie threw me a life raft, and that is what we're doing. People are drowning, and you are holding the answer. If you do not throw it, who will? And that's what happened here. That's why every single one of us is in this room, is because somebody made the decision to sell. They made the decision to step up and say, I'm going to throw that life raft. It's not just for me. It's not enough that I get my health on track. It's not enough that I get my finances on track. It's not enough until I throw that person, that every person that's drowning has an opportunity to take that life raft. You can choose to be afraid of what other people will think, or you can choose to be afraid of missing the opportunity to change someone's life. The bottom line of your business is sales, but the bottom line of sales is impact. And that is what we are here for. There are 3 keywords that I want you guys to remember and forever attach to the word sales: hope, courage, and impact. You are selling hope, and hope moves people to courage so that they can take action. Their action leads to impact, and that process repeats itself over and over and over and over again until you have a room full of beautiful people changing thousands of people's lives. You only have one job this weekend, and that is to allow your vision and your hope and your courage to expand, so that when you go home, you can transfer that gift to your team, to your families, and to all the new people that you're talking to. So that next year when this retreat rolls around, we need a convention center to house us. And I just have this one last statement. Selling is making the decision that the impact won't stop with me. I'm willing to pass it on to the next person too. Thank you.